I respect everybody until they earn my disrespect. Well, it seems like the crack Pampers have stirred up enough racial tension to say that now that George Zimmerman has been found not guilty, he was found to have, just he was guilty of nothing but self-defense. And now we have a bunch of, I don't understand where these people are coming from, but there's thousands of people across the country want to have rallies and justice for Trayvon, and justice was done. We had a trial. 6 sane, smart women looked at all the evidence and determined that George Zimmerman did nothing wrong. We find out through the course of this fiasco. It was a kangaroo court. The prosecutor was so overwhelmingly biased towards the prosecution that anybody with a half a brain could see this. To ask the defendant if he's going to get on the stand and testify in his own defense when he had more of a defense to put on. His defense case wasn't over, and she was asking this quite improper question. Look at other things. 2 people were fired. A police chief and then a prosecutor were fired for not bringing charges against Zimmerman. Now, once we saw the trial unfold in front of us, we saw the evidence was just not there. We have people who keep on saying that he was told to stay in the car, he disobeyed the police. That was found to be absolutely false. He was told, you don't have to do that. Those are the exact words, coming from a dispatcher, not a cop. They were not lawful orders. You people need to get a brain, and you need to really pay attention. The lamestream media, NBC News, was caught doctoring tapes to make George Zimmerman look racist towards Trayvon Martin. We, again, through the course of investigation, find out that George Zimmerman is absolutely no way a racist. He mentors young black men as well as Puerto Rican, as well as white. He mentors kids. It's a well-known fact now that he actually went to bat, per se, because a man was supposedly victimized by police, and George came to his rescue against the police. This man is by no means a racist, but he was painted with this brush by the media, and all of this is drummed up. This was drummed up to make racial tensions in this country escalate. When the illegal alien Muslim dogfucker in our White House says, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. No, he wouldn't. It's absolutely incredible that people can't see the racial slant that has been put on this. And now the Department of Justice is supposedly going to get involved and try to charge George Zimmerman with racial profiling now on a federal level. They're just not going to leave this man alone. What it is they don't want to let this race issue go. They have so much tension drummed up that they want to use that to their advantage. And the end game is we're going to be under martial law. Obungho wants a dictatorship. That's the end of it. That is it. That is the end game. You have to look into this fraud. He's not who he says he is. Please, people, start waking up to the fact that, it's going to come out. You people are going to have to wake up. Right after the verdict was read and Zimmerman finally found out that he can go home now. It's a free man. Matter of fact, you people better give him back his gun because the crack Pampers have threatened his life. So he's going to need it. So you might be scraping up another little useless body up off the sidewalk at George Zimmerman's expense. He did not bring this on. Trayvon Martin was just a kid going to the store for Skittles and iced tea, and he was where he belonged, and he wasn't a... George Zimmerman was where he belonged. He was a neighborhood watch captain. He was doing what he was supposed to do, keeping an eye out on his neighborhood. So he confronted somebody, and he didn't even confront him. The kid confronted George. People seem to keep forgetting this. The facts of the case are Trayvon Martin engaged George Zimmerman. It wasn't the other way around. Now, George, as I just said, was doing his job. He was a neighborhood watch captain, which means he had maybe even more right than little cherub Trayvon to be where he was. George Zimmerman was looking out for people that were committing crimes in his neighborhood, and that little puke fit the profile. So when George Zimmerman was trying to, alert the police to come and check out this kid, he may be one of the perpetrators, he was doing what he was supposed to be doing. He was doing absolutely nothing wrong. So, why is he being vilified so? Because they want to drum up the racial tension. Now, I listen to Judge Jeanine Pirro. I think she's got an excellent mind. I like the way she thinks. She's for liberty. But you really have to listen closely, because even she keeps saying, and listen good now, a child was killed. That this was not a child. Why do you people keep going back to this child issue when you're probably the same people that don't feel bad when a 14 or 15-year-old kid gets treated as an adult in a court of law for their heinous crimes that they commit? Yet a 17-year-old kid is a child. Wasn't the cherub that he was made out to be. Through the course of events, we find out that Mr. Trayvon was suspect in home break-ins. He was suspect in gun selling. He was suspect in fighting. As a matter of fact, little cherub Trayvon was on probation. He was kicked out of school when they found burglary tools and stolen goods in his locker. And pot. And then he had pot in his system, and then he was killed. Little cherub Trayvon, huh? You people really need to wake up and start looking at the facts that were presented. And then, of course, right after the verdict is read, the prosecution team holds a little press conference where they once again presented their case to a room full of reporters with no rebuttals, they summarily dismissed that 6 people said that their evidence was bullshit, and they kept pushing the narrative. And the narrative being that George Zimmerman was a profiler and he killed that kid because he was black. Pay attention, people, as I just said. I like Judge Pirro. But listen, watch, let's have a little contest. Bill O'Reilly, I will bet you, tomorrow night, even Hannity, watch Hannity, he's going to say more than once, he's going to call that little punk a child. He's going to. Count how many times he calls him a child. A child? No. A child doesn't walk up to another grown man. And when it was presented in court, Trayvon the little cherub stood a half a head above George Zimmerman. So he felt emboldened. And he was looking for trouble. He was the one that was racially profiling that night. It was brought out in court that Trayvon was the one calling George the racial names, not the other way around. And as I've illustrated earlier, George Zimmerman helps out children, mentors children, and he doesn't care what race they are. This is being stirred up, ladies and gentlemen, to get you and me, and look at all of the people that are out on the street now. And what do they keep screaming? justice for Trayvon, justice was done. We had a court case. That's the justice system in this country. Case is over. Go home. It affected you none. It affected you none. Zero. Zip. Nada. But you're going to go out and disturb other people? Because that's what you're saying. No peace? What the hell's that supposed to mean? So you're going to make sure other people's cages are rattled because you're pissed off? About something that doesn't affect you at all. No, none of you people knew this kid. And obviously you don't know his past either. And obviously you don't know what happened that night. This is insane. After the verdict, all over the television, again, it was child, the poor child. It's so wrong. We have to get to the bottom of the issue of a kid going to the store for a pack of Skittles and an iced tea gets shot by a man with a gun. Keep calling Zimmerman a man with a gun. Well, wait a minute. George Zimmerman did absolutely nothing wrong, and it was just proven in a court of law. And as a matter of fact, a lot of shit about that little cherub was suppressed. Suppressed by the prosecution. There could be some censures going on in this case. The prosecution could be censored. The judge could be censored. Look at what they've done to this man. Look what they've done to this case. Look what they've done to us, America. That we're even having this conversation when... Do you know about 2,000 kids have died since this case began in Chicago? They were little black kids shot by other little black kids. Children. Where's the outrage? Where's the march? We just found out that the NSA is recording every single word we say to each other. And stockpiling it. Storing it. Where's the outrage? 4 men died in Benghazi. Some stupid bitch gets up in front and says, what does it matter? She quits her job and she can just walk away. Now the DHS bitch is just walking away from her job so she won't see any repercussions for the crimes that she committed? To summarily dismiss 200 illegal alien felons onto our streets is a crime. Because the sequester's coming, I had to let him go. Why are we not paying attention, people? This is going to be bad news if this is allowed to go on. We could be heading right into martial law. And that would be working right into Obunghole's fingers. That's exactly what he wants. He wants martial law. Because then the Constitution is suspended. Your rights are suspended. You are now cattle. That's probably about where we are now anyway. Look at NDAA. Indefinite detention for American citizens. And the only ones that can... Holder says so, or Obunghole says so, you disappear, you go away, you don't come back. And they don't have to explain. Wow. And you're worried about this little black cherub that got killed by the big white man. They were white people. I can't believe so many people are feeding into this nonsense. Listen to your news. Sit down and listen to your news broadcast tonight and see how many times they call that little punk a kid. He wasn't a kid. Don't feed into it, people. Just don't feed into it. You know? Good luck, America. God bless us all. Don't feed into it, people.